Controversy when the Bulldogs were losing midway through this 82-83 season, but they've certainly rebounded. They picked up their 23rd victory coming tonight, 76-67. And I'd like to remind you that this will be a good half-hour post-game show. We'll be sending it back and forth from Fresno in the studios back here to Gill Coliseum. Pat Ogle will be talking with some of the stars of the game. But right now, with a 76-67 final on a trip to New York City on Monday, let's send it back to Fresno, California with Scott Fury and Craig Reed. Scott?
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. We got a whole bunch of tournament action going on tonight, as you know. First of all, let's recap other NIT quarterfinal scores. Nebraska beats Texas Christian 67-57. Now back in North Carolina, Wake Forest over South Carolina 78-61. I'm betting FSU Wake Forest matchup in the semifinals of the NIT. The other quarterfinal takes place tomorrow night is DePaul against Ole Miss. In the NC2A West Regional, the Battle of Cinderellas goes to North Carolina State. Wolfpack beat Utah. That score 78-56 in Game 2 at Ogden, that is, Virginia-Boston College. That's just underway. Back in Knoxville, Tennessee, it's the Mid-East Regional. Kentucky down to Indiana 64-59. In Game 2, Louisville beats Arkansas 65-63. That sets up that Kentucky-Louisville matchup in the finals, and that's going to be some kind of a game. We're coming back with more right after this.
In the medical profession, you deal with pain and injury nearly every day. Sometimes you need more than just medical care. You need the help of another professional. If you're injured and it's not your fault, you need an attorney.
When you've been injured and it's not your fault, you should get professional help. Call Oliver Saunders & Associates, 222-7717. Fees are usually deducted from the amount recovered. Call 222-7717. Oliver Saunders, he's in your corner.
Some places have so many specialties, nothing special.
I want to go home.
Which is the fish and which is the chicken?
They look the same. Hold it up to my eyes, I can't tell. Enjoy your meal.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Enjoy your meal.
we don't try to do everything. We concentrate on chicken made the Colonel's special way and cooked up fresh all through the day.
Now this is special.
No doubt about it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Skylark prices are rock bottom at Service Buick, where the big sale continues all this week. Response has been so tremendous, we've ordered more Skylarks, all sale priced from an unbelievable $81.83. We've got your Skylark, fully loaded with factory air, front-wheel drive, power steering and brakes, and more. All priced from $81.83 with 11.9% financing. If you want this car at this price, you can't wait. Come in today.
Service Buick.
If you run a small business, profits can get squeezed when inventory doesn't match up with production. What you need is a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. Not only can it help you plan ahead, it'll balance your books and give you more time to make dough. And the cost? That's the icing on the cake. Your own IBM personal computer. Try it at a store near you.
You can only scratch your head after this one. I can't believe it. 76-67. Craig, your initial thoughts.
The Bulldogs finally realized that it takes 40 minutes, not 20 minutes, of championship basketball to win a big game. I think that's by far the best 40 minutes that they've played this year.
I think you're right. You know, we talked about UNLV with a big start. Remember in the
first half,
PCAA championship? That was first half. Michigan State, it was first half. UTEP, it was. Michigan State was second half. UTEP, it was second half. Tonight, full 40 minutes, and they wanted it.
They did. They really did. And if you're a Fresno State fan, I think you've got to be feeling that there is some justice in the world. Fresno State was sent packing more than halfway across the country. Then they had to come back all the way to Oregon State. They were able to get very little practice time, very little sleep. Meanwhile, Oregon State was allowed to play all 3 games in the tournament on their home court, but that home cooking wasn't enough tonight because, as we noted at halftime, the referees refused to let Oregon State get away with too much. On a scale of 100%, I say Oregon State got 53% of the calls, Fresno State 47%. When you go on the road, you're happy if you can get a 60-40 split.
Yeah. Great game. The referees, as you mentioned, a factor, and I'm really impressed that you brought up the point about the NIT. I think they wanted Oregon State there, but they're getting the Fresno State team that is really confident. What's the point that really built this team's confidence, do you think?
The point that really built this team's confidence was when they went into the postseason tournament after having won some great games late in the season, and when they fell down against San Jose, they were able to pick themselves back up, win that game in overtime, and then the first 20 minutes that they played against Nevada, Las Vegas was the best half of basketball I think a Fresno State team has played.
Okay, Craig, before we get over to the board and take a look at some of those second half shots that we had taken, your thoughts in that fast break specifically, how they were able to cope with that pressure.
The key thing to the fast break tonight and their ability to beat it, as opposed to their inability to do anything, and their ability to beat the press, I should say, as opposed to their inability to beat the press against Nevada, Las Vegas when they lost that heartbreaking tournament game, was the fact that they attacked the press. They went to score rather than just trying to run off the clock. And we're talking about the end of the game, because that was when they got, I would say, that's when they got 5 of their 7 fast break baskets. We're in the last 4 minutes when Oregon State, out of desperation, had to press.
Okay, and the Bulldogs really did a good job in a hostile arena of keeping their poise. Let's go over now to the shot chart, Craig, and take it away.
This is what you call perfect basketball. The Bulldogs shot a total of 20 shots in the paint area, which is the area underneath the basket. It is also the area where games are won and lost, because these are the highest percentage shots you can get in basketball right around this basket. Of the 20 shots that they took, you only see 2 zeros, which stand for missed shots. The rest were X's. They made 18 of 20 shots in this area in the second half. That is as close to perfect basketball as you can get, Scott.
Is it forward quickness that's making the good shots inside, or because they're certainly not a big team? Why are they getting those shots inside?
You can't get this many good shots unless it's a 5-man effort. All 5 men have to be passing the ball. They all have to be thinking penetrate. Penetrate. Let's get the ball inside. Let's shove the ball down their throats. Let's take it up and either score the easy basket or make them foul us. And again, I think the referees allowed them to do that. They got a couple of offensive fouls called on them, but for the most part, they were allowed to play ball, get the ball inside, which is hard to do on the road sometimes. And again, all 5 men had to be conscious of that. And also, Mitch Arnold helped out a lot. He hit a couple of outside jumpers in the second half that opened up the middle somewhat for Fresno State.
All right, how about Oregon State quickly? Now we move over to there.
Oregon State, conversely, only got 16 shots in the paint, of which 7 were made. But this is a very deceiving statistic, because of their 16 shots, there were at least 3 times in the second half, and we're talking about the second half, by the way, when a player went up, missed it, tapped it up again, missed it, tapped it up again, missed it. If you take away those 3 times, which accounted for 9 or 10 shots, they only got 6 shots in the paint area. The rest of their shots came from the perimeter area out here, and a couple came from this area, which is the further side of the basket.
Craig, you know, that shot chart right there really tells the story. They really got the ball inside well, and that was the difference. Okay, we're going to go to a break now, and we'll come right back.
Take Freeway 41 downtown to Fresno Executive Plaza. Lease beautiful new offices in a secure working environment at 1900 Mariposa Mall.
Snapper has added a new dimension to lawn care, the revolutionary Snapper High Vacuum Riding Mower. Its unique design provides powerful vacuum action for a velvet smooth cut. And with the optional bag and wagon that holds a big 30 bushels, you may be able to mow your entire lawn without stopping to empty. The Snapper High Vacuum Rider, the fastest, easiest way to maintain a beautiful lawn.
Buy now and you'll get a work-saving attachment free. See an authorized dealer today.
Hi, Tom Long. I'd like to invite you into my home to show you my collection of Hunter Originals. We have them everywhere because they save up to 40% on our energy cost. Hunter Originals not only save you money winter and summer, they look great in every room. And they are the leading ceiling fan with a limited lifetime warranty. The reason we sell Hunter Originals at Long's Building Supply is the same reason I put them in my own home. They're the best.
Riverland Restaurant on the banks of the Kings River makes the perfect setting for Easter Sunday dinner. Make this Easter one to remember. Make reservations at Riverland.
Okay, Pat Ogle is up at the Guild Coliseum, and I know he's got some happy Bulldogs, so let's go up to Pat.
Well, I'm sure the celebrating is just getting underway back in Fresno. Thank you, Scott. And the celebrating goes on and on here at the Guild Coliseum. The Red Wave and the Bulldog basketball team very happy, very victorious, 76. I almost forgot the score, getting caught up in the excitement, so let's send it back down to the floor Pat Uggles standing by with Omel Nieves. And Omel pointing over to Mike. Hey, what's this around your neck? You had a little fun taking that down?
Hey, we've had a lot of fun here. You know, we've climbed so many mountains, and we fell a few times. In fact, we probably tumbled down all the way down to the bottom and hit rock. But you know, this team is just unbelievable. We've come together, we fought, and we scratched, and yeah, we have a chance to be a champion. And I think whatever happens, we are champions. I really feel that this team has gelled. We've come really close, and we're on our way to New York.
Well, congratulations, another outstanding performance coming off the bench, 2 in a row. You looked in a little bit of anguish out there a couple of times after foul calls. What was going through your mind?
I don't know. I got a little upset a couple times. I didn't think I had fouled a few times. I thought I got pushed a few times, but Tyrone was trying to settle me down. He did a good job. I was getting a little upset, but he told me, hey, we're going to win it, just be all right. And he settled me down, and I felt good.
I saw you call a huddle late in the game. They were going to shoot some free throws. You called a huddle of everybody. What did you say at that time?
We gave up about 5 points, and I just told everybody, hey, let's just get in here. Hey, we're all right. I told them what offense we're going to run. I go, hey, we're going to win this game. It doesn't matter what happens. Let's just don't forget the crowd. I just wanted us to get together, just to chat a little. It was just, hey, we're all right, we're all right.
Well, Mel, congratulations on a great season. And we'll see. Mike has a question. Pat, ask O'Mel. I got the question. Against Michigan State, he said he did not feel any pressure walking up to the free throw line. Ask him if he felt any in this game. He says at Michigan State, you told him you didn't feel any pressure at all going to the free throw line. Did you feel any pressure here?
To be truthful, I felt a little more pressure. I think this crowd was a little louder. They're in tight more, but we were up by 10. I just went up and just shot some free throws. I'm gonna just have to practice a little more. Okay, O'Mel, we'll see you in New York. Thank you very much.
Okay, Desi Barmore. Desi told me after, and you look great, no kidding. You wanted to go to New York. You said you were going to New York, and now you're on your way.
Oh, definitely, we're on our way. New York, here we come. Watch out, Madison Avenue, Broadway, Avenue of the Americas, because Fresno State will be there.
All right, you're going to have some friends there, too. How many new Red Wavers are we going to see in New York?
Oh, you'll see at least 500. People that haven't seen me for like 3 years, they are dying to see me. And out of 4 years of playing, I have never got to play in front of my New York fans. So finally, I get the opportunity, and I think it's going to be the best thrill of my life, and I know I'm going to play good.
All right, I know after you fouled out, you were the cheerleader on the bench. Whether the fouls were good fouls or not, you had to be concerned when you had to go out of the ball game what that might do to the ball club.
Well, definitely. I just felt that, it was a bad call in a way. I don't think the officiating was that great tonight, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Okay, I'm looking here, Desi. You finished with 8 points, and let's see, rebounds. You had 6 rebounds, so you'll go from there on to New York, right?
That's right. It's just one of those things. I'm so happy, and I had a headache before the game, and all last night I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about Charlie Sitton and AC Green, and what actually happened during the game was that I hyperventilated. So I had to go out and rest my body, and I just got to go back tomorrow night and the next night and get some rest and be ready to play in front of my family and friends so that I can give them a good impression.
All right, Desi, congratulations.
Thank you,
it was
Pat.
a great
Let me
game.
give you my famous hug.
Oh, hey, right here in front of the Red Wave. Thank you.
Number 1, baby. Fresno, we're coming back tonight. We'll be there, and we're going to put you in front of TV and make you watch us.
Hey, I want you to look at the cap that Tyrone has on. You see what that says? Okay, now that's enough since it's an NBC station. Okay, you can put it down there, all right?
Well, can I hold on my sign?
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
All right.
I commented, Tyrone, during, I think it was the first or second half, that I don't think people realize that the energy it takes to bring the ball down game after game after game. You had a tough man on you in Brew tonight, and he was playing you very tight. I mean, do you get fatigued? Do you feel that out there?
Oh, most definitely, because he's playing your baseline, you definitely get fatigued. But, that's why we have O'Mel and myself, and we take turns shifting and coming into the ball game. And Coach and O'Mel and myself, we really did a good job tonight, I think.
All right, what do you think was the turning point in that game out there?
I think the turning point was when Charlie Sitton got his 4th foul, and he went out the ball game, and Coach just said, go inside. And that was the turning point, in my opinion.
Are you aware that that this is only the second time Oregon State has ever lost 2 at home in the same year, and the first year was 1949 against Indiana? That puts you in some pretty good company.
No, I wasn't aware of it, but I tell you what, if they play Fresno State again, they'll lose again.
But they're not going to play you again. You're going to New York. Does that excite you? Are you going to have some people in from Chicago?
Well, I tell you, first of all, they're lucky they're not playing us, but yes, I am happy going to Chicago, and my family won't be able to make it. But I tell you, after we come from New York, I'm going to Chicago, and after that, I'm going to celebrate in Fresno. We're going to celebrate for the rest of the school year.
All right, Tyrone, congratulations. Another great game tonight, and I know you're going to have fun going there.
Hey, thanks a lot, Pat.
All right. Mike, are we supposed to take a break now?
Thank you very much, Pat. Right now, let's send it back. The final score, once again, 76-67. Let's send it back to the studios with more post-game festivities with Scott Fury and Craig Reed. Scott, take it away.
Mike and Pat, thank you very much. Got some confident Bulldogs up there. Hopefully that confidence will be able to last for a couple more games. We'll take a look at the Bulldog master, Boyd Grant, after this.
The Patrick James tradition. Finely tailored clothing, crafted in a manner that transcends time and place, to capture the mood of an unexpected moment. The Patrick James man, because in life, as in love, it's the classic bearing that makes the ultimate statement. Patrick James, purveyor to gentlemen, in Fig Garden Village, Fresno.
Bank cards. They cost you a pretty penny. You have to pay high interest rates in addition to high annual fees. But now the Bank of Fresno has a special Visa offer for qualified savers. An exclusive 8 3/4% interest rate with no annual fee. It's the Bank of Fresno's way of making the convenience of a Visa card a whole lot better. So bring your banking home to the Bank of Fresno, Fresno's bank.
Come fly with Case, free, to your choice of nearly 100 cities in the U.S. or Canada, Mexico or the Caribbean, Hawaii or Europe. Buy a new Case farm tractor and Case will take you there free with 2 round-trip tickets plus free travel cash. Destinations and cash amounts based on models purchased. Come see your Case dealer now.
See Mike Kovac at Hanford Equipment on 7th in Hanford, or Dennis Monahan at Kovac Equipment Company on East Jensen in Fresno.
The Sunday Champagne Brunch at Sutton's from 10 until 2. Incredible.
Tonight's victory is just the latest chapter in what's turned out to be a storybook year for the Bulldogs. Back in November, Boyd Grant was concerned about this, his rebuilding year.
It's got to be a rebuilding. We have a lot of new names, 2 junior college players, a red shirt, and 5 freshmen. Now, if that isn't rebuilding, I don't know what is.
It was the first day of practice, and Boyd Grant had every reason to be concerned. Living up to last year's 27-3 club was indeed a tall order. Some said the Bulldogs would never again match last year's record, and although the Dogs did not win 27 games, they did earn an equal amount of national recognition. And because of that, this will always be remembered as one of Boyd's special teams.
Last year we had so much more experience. There were times this year maybe when I wondered if I was coaching. I mean, you go through that when you're losing and playing as poorly as we were at times. But now that the kids have won 9 out of 10, it's helped my confidence in that I'm saying that now we're coming, and maybe this was the inexperienced part. But
Tyrone, if you dribble all the way, then you're going to kick it for the jumper. Okay, if you give it up early, then Mitch is the 4-man in this situation.
Getting the most out of this club took one heck of a coaching job. The unexpected results have made this one of the most satisfying years in Boyd Grant's career.
Well, I felt really good at the end, Jess. I felt good about the reception again, about the fact that basketball has been really stimulated throughout the community and in the student body, and I can feel it. And certainly I feel good for the kids. I really feel good for Desi Barmore, the fact that he was so low at one time and could have ended his career at Fresno State feeling like a total failure, and now here he is 3 or 4 ball games and been our leader, been our leading rebounder, been our leading scorer. And so when that takes place, it really has to give you a good feeling.
I understand Pat Ogle has the best 2 forwards on the West Coast standing by up in Gill Coliseum. Let's go back up there.
Congratulations, Bernard. You have to be the KC player of the game. 26 points, 7 rebounds. What do you think about the game?
You know, I think everyone came out and played well. You know, at the end of the first half, you know, I think all that traveling affected some of us. You know, it affected me, but in the second half, you know, I dug down in deep, and I wanted to get the chance to go to New York, and I wanted to also beat the Beavers for the second time, and, you know, everything I wanted to do, it happened.
It was a tremendous game. Do you think that you played about the two best games of your career against Oregon State?
Well, I guess so. Everyone's been saying that, but you know, my shots just was falling. You know, everybody played good. It just wasn't me. It was just the whole team.
How is it to play against Charlie Sitton? He's a pretty rough customer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a rough, and you know, he's kind of get wild out there on the court. And some of the stuff he do, it should be a foul, but you know, the refs let him get away with it.
What did you think about the officiating tonight? They seem to be very tight, but on both ball clubs.
Yeah, you know, I can't take nothing away from the officials. I think they did a pretty good job. You know, they make some bad calls and they make some good ones. That's the way it goes.
What do you think about the two ball clubs that you've played on the last 2 years now? How would you compare them, the mostly senior team you played on last year and then this ball club that had its ups and downs?
You know, I think last year, much of the season we depended on Rod, but this season, I think we got 3 or 4 players that, you know, if somebody's on the other team is holding one player tight, the other one will come around and he'll make the buckets when we need them.
All right, Bernard, again, congratulations on a great game. It's going to be a great experience in New York, and congratulations.
Thank you, Pat.
All right, Scott, we'll send it back to you. We didn't get to talk to Mitch Arnold and Ron Anderson. 2 other players had great games, but back to you, Scott.
Well, we got half of the best forward tandem in the conference. Let's go to a commercial, come back for some final thoughts after this.
If you haven't driven a Ford lately, we've got just what you need at Decker Ford. 11.9% financing is available on new 83 Ford cars, V6 and diesel pickups, and hey, van conversions. 11.9% on 83 Mustangs and Mustang convertibles. That means the lowest monthly payments available in years. And the lowest prices on new T-Birds and 84 Bronco 2s. They're gorgeous. Rain or shine, 11.9% ends March 31st. Get here. Decker Ford on Shaw.
Hey, Dad, aren't we carrying the Spirit thing too far?
Oh, college boy, you wanted to learn the business. Union 76 full service means being here when our customers need us.
But it's only 6 a.m.
Good tires tell time.
Huh?
Batteries, gasoline tanks.
Yeah, it's early, Dad.
But cars don't just function 9 to 5 like some people that I know.
Yeah, but who needs this stuff at 6 a.m.?
You tell me.
Oh.
Go with the Spirit.
Morning, Mr. York.
Please. It's 6 a.m.
The Spirit of 76.
1, 2, 3, 4. Tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. And in her itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, she brought all the boys to their knees.
Hey, bikinis are coming. Eat cottage cheese.
She wore an itsy bitsy teeny.
Nicola's, Fresno's dining experience in elegance. We've had a long tradition of providing fine food, superb service, and delightful company. The finest food in the valley served by a staff of waiters trained to give individual attention to your meal. Wine stewards experienced in selecting the right wine to suit your taste. Pastry trays brought to your table. Choose whatever pleases you or order our special desserts. Nicola's, the sign of good times. Visit us. We're open 7 days a week on Maroa, south of Shields.
Before we go any farther, let me remind the Red Wave that the Bulldog Charter is due back at FAT approximately 1 o'clock this morning. Got to be out there to greet that team home. Okay, Craig, we've heard a lot of comments about, hey, this is the biggest win in Bulldog history. Your thoughts there?
It is the biggest win in their history, at least recent history. I haven't been here that long, in the sense that they're going to New York City, where they'll be getting the most exposure they could get, almost more exposure than they could get if they were in NCAA championship. However, you must keep in perspective that last year's team played a Georgetown team very tough in the NCAA tournament, a Georgetown team that was far superior to any team that the Bulldogs are playing in the NIT. So I think it's premature to put them over last year's team, but from a publicity standpoint and an exposure standpoint, I would have to say this is the greatest win in recent Bulldog history.
They're going to the NIT. They've got Wake Forest in there. They've got Nebraska in there. We're going to find out tomorrow if it's going to be DePaul or Ole Miss making the 4th team. What do you see in New York?
I see Mississippi upsetting DePaul. To me, it's not an upset. DePaul's been winning some games by the skin of their teeth and by virtue of the fact they have been playing at home. I see Fresno State playing Wake Forest. I see Wake Forest presenting an inside problem for Fresno State, and that they've got some quick athletes inside. I think Fresno State will beat Wake Forest, and I think they will go on to win the tournament against whoever they play. The reason being, Fresno State plays the best defense in the United States. They're able to hold the other team down without fouling, and that's the key. They don't foul like teams like Oregon State, like teams like Texas El Paso. Desi Barmore made a couple of fouls tonight that weren't Phi Beta Kappa, but besides that, they played a very strong game. But when you add to that tenacious defense the type of flawless offensive execution we saw tonight, you're talking about an NIT championship team. There's no question in my mind about that.
Hey, they've gone 3 games, looking great, but can it? You're saying they're going to hold on for 2 more games. Can it happen? You know, the bubble's got to burst sometime. Is it going to burst before they win the championship?
I don't think so. Again, I think their combination of offense and defense, you've got to remember, these kids they're playing from schools like Wake Forest have never seen the type of defense that Fresno State's going to be playing. Ron Adams institutes a matchup zone, which is basically, for the ladies and gentlemen out there who aren't into basketball that much, a combination of man-to-man and zone principles. And it's almost impossible to figure out what defense Fresno State's in, because teams have one offense for a zone, one offense for a man-to-man.
PC2A versus ACC, if that Wake Forest PC2A Wake Forest FSU matchup should take place. Quickly, your thoughts about PC2A versus ACC.
I think when you look at PCAA versus ACC, you've got to remember we're not playing the top of the ACC. Right. We're not playing Virginia, North Carolina State.
They're not playing the top of the PC2A either.
I think Fresno State is, at this time, at least the 2nd best team in the PCAA, and I think that will show when they win the NIT championship.
Well, I hope your optimism is founded. Okay. Thank you very much, Craig, for your comments. I'm Scott Fury. We're going back to Gill Coliseum now for Mike and Pat.
76-67, that's the final of the 3rd round of the NIT game between Oregon State and Fresno State. 2 young men you did not talk to, Ron Anderson in the postgame or Mitch Arnold. Neither had a good game back on December 4th. Both played instrumental roles here tonight.
Let's see if I'm right. Ronnie had what, 22
points.
He had 22 points, and Mitch had 10, and they had a total of 2 points in the first game. So they did play very, very well. Fresno State played very, very well. The thing that we have seen when they have won games is when coming down the stretch is when they've played well. It got tight. They got a little bit of a lead. It came back. They made some steals. They got the breakaways, and that will serve them well going to New York.
Early in the big game, Charlie Sitton picked up a couple of fouls and didn't play the 15 minutes of the first half.
And when he came back in, he picked up 2 more quick fouls. So Sitton definitely makes so much difference to this particular ball club.
With all the excitement, of course, we'd like to once again extend our appreciation to Pacific Telephone back in Fresno, who went out of their way to make sure that the telecast got back to Fresno. The final score is 76-67. Very quickly, the leading score is 26 points for Bernard Thompson, 22 for Ronnie Anderson. For the losing Beavers of Oregon State, 16 for Danny Evans and 15 for Charlie Sitton, 13 of those 15 coming in the second half. Any final comment?
Well, my only final comment is, Mike, is that this is our last game. We won't be going New York with the broadcast, and I think we should mention Mike Stone, who's been behind the scenes as a producer all year.
I'd like to thank Scott Fury, Craig Reed, and Mike Stone, our producer. On behalf of Pat Ogle, this is Mike Gleason saying so long from Corvallis, Oregon. The final score once again, Fresno State on its way to the Big Apple, 76, Oregon State 67. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good morning, Mike.
This is KNU, Easy 103.
Hey, when did you start listening to KNU?
Started over the weekend. A lot of people I know are talking about its new sound.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, I like it. KNU plays my favorite songs, old and new, but in an easy style that's kind of relaxing. What do you think?
I think you ought to turn up the radio.
Listen to the new KNU, Easy 103 FM. Fresno's nice and easy music station.
Now that San Francisco's cable cars aren't running, how do you know you're in Northern California? What landmark tips you off? That's right, McDonald's and Safeway's $2 million landmark game. Mountains of cash and food prizes, oceans of tickets and discount coupons to Marine World Africa, USA. A grand prize of $50,000. No purchase necessary to play. It's McDonald's and Safeway's $2 million landmark game, and it's all just for Northern California. People keep winning, so keep playing. Only at participating McDonald's and Safeways.
Well, the things you learn at family reunions.
What's that, cousin?
Oh, well, you use Velveeta.
Oh, I know.
But that's what our moms used. Don't you cook with natural cheeses?
Well, what do you think goes into Velveeta?
It's cheddar and other natural cheeses, milk and other wholesome ingredients, all carefully balanced in the Velveeta process. It melts smoother, cooks easier than any chunk cheese alone.
You really know your cheeses.
It's all in this little yellow box.
Go where the news is. News Center 24, weeknights at 11.